Well, howdy everybody, this is Steve at 1000 Year Homes. Behind me I'm cooking a pork chop for lunch, but never a dull moment. So while I'm doing that, I'm going ahead and all of my bladed tools like this double-edged axe, all of these are antiques, but I use them. So I've oiled that up and put an edge on it. It's a razor sharp edge. Let me run through all of these things. And it's something that I do commonly, so, as you use your tools, they get damaged. Also, a lot of people strip off that varnish that's on there that's real thin. I don't bother. I just simply oil it as it disappears. So the rule of thumb on oiling your tools is once a day for a week, and then once a week for a year, and then once a month for a year, and then it'll be oiled for forever at that point. So, it gets it's the dumbest thing, because they say the oil gets down in the pores of the iron, and you don't really think of iron that way, right? But it indeed has pores, and if you oil it and take care of it, eventually you'll end up with a black patina like that protects it. But every one of these tools, it's getting to be fall. So last weekend I rebuilt all of my saws, and this weekend I'm redoing all of my bladed tools. So after I oil the handle up, I go ahead and run a file over it. Now I could get out a grinder or something like that, but it doesn't take long to run a file over, and I follow the blade edge that's there. I don't try to cut in a new blade edge with a file. All I'm doing is, if you look at that real close, there was nicks and dings where maybe it hit a this I use for a fence, so I hammer, and so maybe I hit a fence or something like that, chopping out a piece of brush. It's got it pulls there. Again, all of these tools, I buy them when I see them in antique stores. They're less expensive than new tools. And I don't know, the new ones, the fiberglass handles, you would think would last longer, but they don't. And then if you get a steel tool, you got to make sure that the blade's not, that it's not a hollow metal blade. If you get one of those that's the old-fashioned, and they're heavy as heck, you'll know it. But anyway, you could see in the light there that I've knocked off the edges. It's darn sharp. I mean, I can't shave a hair, but you don't want to with a hatchet, because you don't want to get it stuck in the wood and not be able to pry it out. So it's a hatchet, and this axe are wedges, right? So you want to go with an angle that's more like a wedge, where a knife blade or a scalpel, you want to go with a real fine edge. So anyway, I just follow the edges that are there, call it a day. Occasionally on a mower blade, I might put a two edge, like a real good angle, and then a more blunt angle if I'm brush hogging or something like that, where I know I'll run into stuff. Anyway, oil them up. I'm to the point where I'm oiling once a year now. Yeah, that'll cut a finger. And oil the handle at the same time so they don't rot. And there you go. That's a pretty good blade. I'll get to where I scratched it up. I'll go ahead and rub some oil in it. You can use old motor oil if you like the smell, but I only use the old motor oil for trailer boards and things that are outdoors. I don't. But this is, real fine machinist oil. I like that. You could use linseed oil on your handles if you're a purist. Oil is oil, and a mineral oil is just fine. Nothing fancy here. I'm not trying to restore something that's a million years old. The other advantage of using that machinist oil is like this case on this Bowie knife is beginning to look a little shabby. Now I keep this Bowie knife in my ATV, so it's outside all the time. And machinist oil will work just fine on leather, just as well. So you see, I put it on there, and already the leather is looking good, right? Now, if this was something fancy and not some Pakistani steel, if it's a German antique knife, one, I wouldn't leave it outside. or a Civil War era Bowie knife. It's not. It's just a regular old Texas Bowie knife. Comes in super handy in my ATV. The number of times, like I'll run down, I'll get the mail, for example, and then I need to open a box. But the number of times I pulled this Bowie knife out is surprisingly a lot. So anyway, there you go. I took care of the leather right off the reel. Now that leather will last, another 5, 6, 10 years maybe. We'll get a little bit down in here too. I'll chase it down in there too. I'm not being real fancy, and I buy this machinist oil in bulk in 2-gallon cans. And then see, like these old antique, look for those when you go to a estate sale. See how easy that is to use that? A lot of the tools they used back in the day are the best tools for the job. Those guys that, they were survivalists, right? Everything they did, look, see the water's beginning to get in the leather. This is a leather wrapped handle. So, people are, oh, won't that machinist oil make those slippery? No, it won't. It just soaks right in, and it's just machinist oil. Back in the old days, guys used to, and still do, watchmakers do, they take the oil off their nose and off their ears and to grease things. Silly, but they did, and they still do. Watchmakers do that. Anyway, this blade is shot on this thing. This one, I don't know if I could put an edge on it, but I put a blade down, stick it in, and then I could really get into it and cut it real fast, right? So, and then I'll work the tip when I get there. Again, these are all outdoor tools. I'm not trying to put a razor edge on this thing. I'm just trying to make it functional for when I go and get mail, or have to cut a tree branch. I pull this knife out like once a day. It's this ridiculous number of times I pull this knife out. It sits in the ATV. Every time I've tried the ATV, there's something that is needing this knife. Now, here's where, okay, a file is not a whetting stone, right? It's not. So this won't have a good edge. It'll have a real rough edge. But that's fine for cutting bales of hay and strings and the things I use it for, right? Opening boxes, and if I hit a staple while opening a box, I don't care. So anyway, that's a quick way. I'm not spending much time on them. I didn't get out my my buffing wheels and my polishing wheels, and then I just get right through it. This one says it's a Marbles, and that's actually a really good knife. I mean, it's still it says it's made in Pakistan, but the Marbles name brand right there, see that? Marbles name brand is really good. These were the knives that my dad had. He liked the leather wrapped, and so when I see a leather wrapped knife, I tend to buy it. Just gives me nostalgia at the same time that it's doing it. Listen, that could cut me if I'd press on it any harder. That could cut me. I won't shave a hair with that, but again, I will be able to cut a box and do binders and take care of bales of hay just fine. Horse gets tangled somewhere, I'll be able to cut out the lead rope. Maybe someday I'll cut a decent profile in this. You could send knives off to be sharpened if they're really good knives. I don't bother. The tip on this is junk. It really needs that tip really worked. But since I use this as a stabbing and chisel and all of that, I'm not going to worry about it because I don't want to break the tip off. But that could use a little bit. So all right, so my pork chop's still cooking behind me. I've been at this for about 20 minutes. And I'm getting there on these things, aren't I? So these machetes, they come from Argentina. This is an Argentina machete. It's an antique of some sort or another. The blades probably aren't real good on that one, but it's beginning to rust up in the leather. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I'm going to treat this, but somewhere I have leather treatment oil, and I'll go ahead and treat that one without the, because it's inside the house sometimes, and I don't want to breathe this machinist oil. It doesn't have an offensive odor. It smells like old sewing machines. If you've ever smelled an old sewing machine, they're covered in machinist oil. And but I notice it at night when I'm sleeping, and I don't want to be bothered with that. All right. Well, if I keep oiling these up down through the years, eventually that iron rust will rust into a nice little patina. Same thing as the Bowie knife. I just stick it into the wood, and I just sharpen that edge. I see a couple of places where I must have hit fence line down by the tip. I'm using today a fine blade file, not a real aggressive file, because all of these already have pretty good edges on them. I'm just knocking off the burrs and the damage. It's a little hot out here, everybody, so the fall started in nice, but I'm over 100 degrees today while I'm cooking. Sometimes I just give up and go into town. Don't even bother. Yeah, it's getting pretty good. That's getting pretty good. Alright, there's my Argentina machete all hooked up. I'm surprised there... Oh yeah, there is. La Palma, it says on it. So there's right there, you could see there's a maker's mark on it. La Palma. And a little palm tree right there. But when you find them with the, the original satchel carry, the woven carry, that's hand woven, right? This one's probably pretty old. I'm going to guess from the 50s. I don't know what journey it took to go from, or if they even imported these in the 50s. They might have imported them. I don't know. But anyway, I won't do this leather because I keep this one inside the house mostly. Wear it when I'm working, out. But I'm still rubbing a little machine oil in it. It's silly. But there you go. And then I like these kukris, and the way I use them, and this one's in really bad shape. I don't know if I could put an edge on it. This is a tourist one like you would get, overseas. But it's an old tourist one, and it's got the legitimate notch in there for the people that use these kukri knives, Sikhs. I believe the Sikhs, it's part of their religion. And what I liked about this, it has a really good leather case, and it came with these couple of knives. This is the normal configuration for a Sikh. For them, a knife is ceremonial as well as practical. So, and they take a vow, I've heard, that to do no harm, right, to the innocent, to protect the innocent with the knife. But I use these to skid logs. So you could do it a couple of different ways. You could get a draw knife, right? But I find with the logs I'm working on that I've got a couple of kukri. This one's just a an SOG. I thought it was a Gerber, but this one's an SOG. But I have a Gerber someplace too. Really sharp. This one's super sharp, but I use this one for big logs and that one for littler ones. The arc there works really, really well to debark a log. So that's what I'm doing with that. Listen, I'm not going to be able to put an edge in this thing. This needs a grinder. This was purely, definitely just decorative. It looks like some kid got it once upon a time and did what I did. It grabbed a file and just went at it. It's saying that it's India right there on it. I could see it. Can you see that little maker's mark there? But it is a tourist version. There's nothing sacred about this one. For the tourist, right? Also probably out of the 50s, I'm going to guess. Back when people could travel and America had a better reputation, right? That's at the moment. Alright, well this one I'm not going to be able to fix. Again, I'm after the one, see how I bent that that blade right there, how it's got that little bend. So I've got over here a blacksmith's anvil right there, so let me go ahead and just pound that out so you could see me doing that. Hit something like rebar or something right there, but before I try to just file that out and leave for a forever notch in there, I'm going to go ahead and peen that out. And look at that, just a couple of hits, and that's what a blacksmith anvil is for a regular farm. So I'll keep pounding on that until it's straight. And then no harm in pounding on these blades. It's what they used to do for seats, you know. They would have little metal ribbon with a bearing on it, and you pound on the bearing and it would pound that edge and it work hardens it, right? So all I'm doing effectively is work hardening this particular blade. This isn't an antique, you know, this is something you get at Ace Hardware or something. So anvils used to be something that weren't a big deal, but they became popular. And so a junk anvil like this, just go to Harbor Freight and just buy an anvil like that. This is not a German-made, turn-of-the-century, high-energy anvil, right? You can see nothing bounces off of it. So the secret to moving metal like this is not large blows. Metal, if you think of it's like putty, right? But it's really stiff putty. So you get in there with a every hit of anything against metal will deform it slightly. So keep that in mind as you work stuff, right? And you don't have to get crazy. And there we go. I worked that right out. Now I'll be able to sharpen that edge without a big divot showing up. And it's pretty sharp already, but I'll go ahead and run a file over it. Then I'm all done. I think my pork chops will be done too. Well, not quite all done. This little tourist one, I got it for smaller hands and smaller board. It will need some grinding. I'll have to get the grinding wheel out for that one. I might just get a wire wheel out or my angle grinder and put a flat disc on it maybe. Then bring out my big grinder and set it all up. Yeah, that's doing a good job right there. Now, I should probably be wearing gloves, right? Because if you run your finger across any of these edges as I'm filing them, that would hurt. It would cut me right down. But, you know, I'm a big boy. But if it's your first time and you're not familiar with super sharp edges, you know, wear some gloves or something. Getting there, just the tip now. All right, well, that's a good use of my time while I'm cooking, right? I got all of my tools ready for another go around. They can all go back in the ATV. I can log. There you have it. All right, everybody, this is Steve at 1,000 Year Homes. I'm going to get my dinner. I want to thank y'all for watching for a little bit. Today's episode, 1,000 Year, take care of your tools. They might last 1,000 years. A bunch of these are from the 1800s, 100-year-old axe, right? Just take care of them. They'll be fine. I'm not real good. I'm not lecturing you from on high. I don't have a fancy place to store them. These are stored outside. But I still nevertheless take care of them. Also, if you get cut, you'll always get cut from a dull tool because you're putting a lot more force on it to make it do something, or you're swinging harder, or whatever you got to do. Sharp stuff will keep you from getting cut if you're careful and mindful of that edge. All right, like, subscribe, follow me along. Bye.